There's a silent myth that haunts the corridors of ambition, a seductive whisper that tells us some are simply born with it. A chosen few, blessed by an unseen hand, destined for greatness without the grit, the grind, the grueling march towards mastery. We see the virtuoso musician whose fingers dance across the keys, the athletic marvel who defies gravity, the entrepreneurial genius whose empire seems to materialize from thin air. And in that observation, a dangerous seed of resignation is planted. They have talent. I don't. This insidious belief, this silent surrender to the notion of innate gifting, is perhaps the greatest barrier to true achievement. It allows us to abdicate responsibility, to settle for mediocrity, to remain comfortably within the confines of average because, well, we just weren't born with it. But what if the very concept of talent as an insurmountable preordained destiny is a profound misdirection, a comforting lie that keeps us from unlocking our true boundless potential? Think of the legends, the titans who reshaped industries, redefined art, conquered unimaginable challenges. Did Edison simply wake up one morning with the blueprint for the light bulb downloaded into his mind? Did Henry Ford effortlessly conjure the assembly line from a fleeting thought? Did Walt Disney's magical kingdom spring fully formed from a single wish? The history books, often sanitized for dramatic effect, tend to highlight the grand revelations, the moments of eureka, while conveniently glossing over the relentless, often brutal, process of deliberate practice that preceded them. They omit the countless hours in the workshop, the thousands of failed experiments, the endless iterations, the unyielding commitment to refinement long after others had given up. This is not to diminish their genius, but to illuminate its true source. Not a mystical, inherent gift, but an almost obsessive dedication to the painstaking, repetitive, often unglamorous work of improvement. The prison of perceived lack of talent is a self-imposed one, a psychological barrier far more formidable than any external obstacle. It's the belief that your ceiling is fixed, determined by some arbitrary genetic lottery. But what if your ceiling is merely the limit of your current effort, the boundary of your current understanding, the edge of your willingness to push beyond comfort? The true masters of any domain understand this fundamental truth. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. It is the cumulative effect of intentional, focused, often uncomfortable effort applied consistently over time. It is the relentless pursuit of improvement, not just activity. This journey, this reevaluation of how greatness is truly forged, begins with a radical shift in mindset. You must shed the limiting belief that talent is a finite resource bestowed upon a fortunate few. Instead, embrace the profound understanding that competence, skill, and even genius are largely developed, not discovered. This isn't wishful thinking. It's a deep dive into the psychology of peak performance, a reinterpretation of what truly drives extraordinary outcomes. It's about shifting from a fixed mindset, where abilities are seen as static, to a growth mindset, where potential is understood as expandable through effort and learning. This fundamental reorientation of your mental landscape is the first most critical step. Without it, every challenge will feel like confirmation of your limitations. With it, every obstacle becomes an opportunity for expansion, a crucible in which your true capacities are forged. It's about understanding that the brain, like a muscle, grows stronger and creates new neural pathways with focused, sustained effort. The more you challenge it, the more capable it becomes. The more you push past current limitations, the further those limitations recede. This mindset shift paves the way for the profound power of deliberate practice itself. This is not simply practicing. It's a highly structured, intentional form of effort designed to push you beyond your current abilities. It's about stepping outside your comfort zone, identifying your specific weaknesses, and then relentlessly targeting those areas for improvement. Imagine a concert pianist. They don't just idly play familiar tunes. They isolate difficult passages, slow them down, repeat them hundreds of times, analyzing every nuance, seeking minute improvements in finger placement, rhythm, and expression. They practice at the edge of their current ability, making mistakes, learning from them, and pushing through the frustration that inevitably arises. This is the antithesis of mindless repetition. Think of it this way. Are you practicing to perform or practicing to improve? The difference is monumental. Many people engage in repetitive tasks without ever truly getting better because their practice lacks deliberate intent. They perform what they already know, reinforcing existing neural pathways, but never forging new ones. Deliberate practice, by contrast, is uncomfortable, challenging, and often exhausting precisely because it forces your brain and body to adapt, to create new connections, to stretch beyond what feels easy or familiar. It requires feedback, constant, honest, and often critical feedback. This feedback loop is essential. It's how you know where you're falling short and precisely what needs adjustment. Whether it comes from a coach, a mentor, objective data, or rigorous self-analysis, feedback illuminates the path to improvement, turning blind effort into targeted, efficient growth. Without it, you might be practicing for years and still remain stuck on a plateau. This brings us to the crucial element of focus. Deliberate practice demands intense, unwavering concentration. You cannot passively engage. You must be fully present, dissecting your performance, identifying specific areas for refinement, and making micro-adjustments in real time. This level of focus is draining, which is why deliberate practice sessions are often shorter but far more impactful than hours of unfocused activity. It's about quality, not just quantity. It's about being fully engaged in the learning process, not merely going through the motions. Imagine a surgeon performing a complex operation. Their focus is absolute, every movement precise, every decision calculated. This same intensity of focus is required if you are to truly unlock the transformative power of deliberate practice in any domain, be it a skill, a habit, or a complex body of knowledge. And within this focused effort lies the recognition that mistakes are not failures, but data points. They are invaluable signals, illuminating precisely where your current understanding or execution is flawed. The individual consumed by the talent myth often views mistakes as confirmation of their inherent inadequacy, leading to discouragement and abandonment. The practitioner of deliberate practice, however, embraces mistakes as essential components of the learning process. They dissect them, analyze them, and use them as guides to refine their approach. This reframing of error is a powerful psychological lever, transforming moments of frustration into opportunities for profound insight and accelerated growth. It's the difference between beating yourself up and becoming a relentless problem solver, consistently seeking the most effective pathways to mastery. The unyielding commitment to this kind of focused, feedback-driven effort is where grit takes center stage. This isn't a fleeting burst of motivation. It's the sustained passion and perseverance toward very long-term goals. It's the ability to stick with your future, day in, day out, not just for the week, not just for the month, but for years. Deliberate practice is inherently challenging and often unrewarding in the short term. The immediate gratification is minimal, and the progress can feel excruciatingly slow. This is where many falter, succumbing to the allure of easier paths or giving up when the initial excitement wears off. But those who achieve true mastery understand that results compound over time, like interest in a bank account. Each small, uncomfortable session of deliberate practice deposits a tiny increment of skill and understanding, which eventually accrues into exponential growth. Think of the seemingly overnight successes you witness. Behind almost every one of them lies a decade or more of relentless, deliberate effort. The overnight sensation is often merely the public unveiling of years of private, painstaking dedication. This is where the myth of innate talent truly dissolves. It's not about being born with a silver spoon of genius. It's about being willing to pick up the shovel and dig consistently, day after day, through layers of discomfort and doubt. This unwavering commitment, this almost stubborn refusal to quit when the going gets tough, is a far more powerful predictor of success than any pre-existing aptitude. It is the fuel that keeps the engine of deliberate practice running, even when the terrain becomes rugged and the destination seems impossibly distant. This sustained effort naturally leads to the cultivation of discipline. Not the rigid, punitive discipline of external enforcement, but the liberating, self-directed discipline that arises from a deep understanding of your long-term vision. It's the commitment to showing up even when motivation wanes. It's the internal resolve to choose the challenging path of growth over the comfortable path of stagnation. Discipline in this context is the bridge between intention and realization. It's the consistent application of effort toward your well-defined goals, regardless of your momentary feelings or external distractions. It's about building habits that serve your highest aspirations, making the uncomfortable practice a non-negotiable part of your routine until it becomes second nature. Consider the discipline required by any elite athlete or world-class performer. Their training schedules are meticulously planned, their diets strictly adhered to, their recovery protocols precisely followed. This isn't because they inherently enjoy every moment of it, but because they understand that every act of discipline is a vote for their future self, a commitment to their ultimate vision. This internal commitment transforms effort into ritual, turning painstaking practice into an almost meditative pursuit of excellence. It's about honoring your long-term goals over short-term desires, a hallmark of all who truly master their craft. As you embrace this disciplined approach, you begin to experience the transformative power of incremental progress. The human mind often craves dramatic leaps, instant gratification, and immediate results. But mastery is built brick by brick, not by single monumental acts. Deliberate practice teaches you to appreciate the microscopic improvements, the subtle refinements, the gradual strengthening of your capabilities. It's about celebrating the tiny victories along the way, a slightly cleaner stroke, a deeper understanding of a complex concept, a more fluid execution of a challenging task. These seemingly insignificant gains, when compounded over time, lead to truly extraordinary results. Think of it like erosion. A single drop of water seems powerless, but over millennia, countless drops can carve canyons through solid rock. Your consistent, deliberate efforts are those drops, slowly but surely shaping your abilities, carving new pathways in your brain, transforming your potential into undeniable skill. This appreciation for incremental progress helps combat discouragement when immediate dramatic results aren't apparent. It shifts your focus from the overwhelming gap between where you are and where you want to be to the manageable steps you can take right now to move forward. This perspective cultivates patience, resilience, and a deeper appreciation for the journey of mastery itself. This systematic approach to improvement also demands rigorous self-assessment. The amateur might blame external factors or dismiss their performance as just not having the talent. The deliberate practitioner, however, takes ownership. They meticulously analyze their performance, identifying precisely where they fell short and, more importantly, why. This isn't about self-criticism in a negative sense. It's about objective analysis, a detached examination of your current abilities against your desired standard. It involves asking tough questions. What specifically went wrong? What underlying skill is lacking? What alternative approach could I try? This continuous feedback loop, driven by self-reflection, is a powerful accelerant to learning and improvement. Consider the meticulous post-game analysis performed by championship sports teams. They don't just celebrate victories, they dissect every play, identifying both strengths and weaknesses, continuously seeking marginal gains that will give them an edge in future competitions. This level of granular analysis, applied to your own efforts, unlocks insights that passive repetition never could. It allows you to transform every experience, even the challenging ones, into a valuable learning opportunity, propelling you forward with greater precision and effectiveness. It forces you to confront your blind spots and systematically address them rather than simply hoping they will magically disappear. This commitment to honest self-assessment is a hallmark of truly intentional growth. And within this journey of meticulous self-assessment and consistent effort, the role of mentorship and expert guidance becomes profoundly important. While self-reflection is crucial, an external, objective perspective can often illuminate blind spots you simply cannot see. A true master in any field has usually benefited from the wisdom and insights of those who have traveled the path before them. A coach, a mentor, an expert who can provide targeted feedback, identify subtle flaws in your technique, and offer precise strategies for improvement can dramatically accelerate your progress. They can see the patterns you miss, point out the subtle inefficiencies, and provide the distilled wisdom that comes from years of their own deliberate practice. Think of legendary figures like Steve Jobs and his early mentor, Mike Markula, or Michael Jordan, and the myriad coaches who honed his already prodigious skills. Their journeys were not solitary. They actively sought out and absorbed knowledge from those who possessed it. This isn't about blindly following instructions. It's about intelligently integrating external wisdom with your own internal discoveries. It's about being humble enough to acknowledge that others may have insights that can significantly enhance your own learning curve. This willingness to learn from and be guided by experts is a powerful counter to the egoic tendency to believe you can figure everything out on your own. It demonstrates a commitment to efficiency and accelerated growth, leveraging the accumulated knowledge of those who have already achieved what you aspire to. The long arc of deliberate practice, fueled by grit, discipline, and expert guidance, inevitably leads to the development of intuition. This isn't a mystical phenomenon, but the unconscious mastery that arises from countless hours of conscious, focused effort. When you've repeated a skill thousands of times, when you've meticulously analyzed every nuance, your brain begins to recognize patterns and make connections at an almost instantaneous level. What once required painstaking conscious effort becomes fluid, effortless, and seemingly intuitive. The master doesn't think about every step, they simply do, guided by a deeply ingrained understanding forged through deliberate practice. Consider a grandmaster chess player. They don't consciously analyze every single possible move. Their intuition, honed by tens of thousands of hours of studying positions and playing games, allows them to instantly recognize optimal moves and anticipate their opponent's strategies. This sixth sense is the ultimate byproduct of deliberate practice. It's the point where skill transcends mere competence and enters the realm of artistry. This is the goal, not just to perform a task, but to perform it with such profound understanding and effortless grace that it appears to be a natural gift, when in reality, it is the magnificent culmination of intentional, persistent effort. This is the true meaning of going beyond talent. Realizing that what appears to be innate ability is often the hard-won fruit of relentless dedication. This journey towards mastery, driven by deliberate practice, is not just about external achievement. It's about profound self-transformation. As you commit to pushing your boundaries, as you embrace discomfort and learn from every setback, you build an unshakable sense of self-efficacy. You realize through direct experience that your capabilities are far greater than you once imagined. The inner dialogue shifts from "I can't" to "how can I?" The subtle victim narrative, the one that attributed shortcomings to a lack of innate talent, slowly dissolves, replaced by a robust belief in your own capacity for growth and improvement. This is perhaps the most profound victory of all, the liberation from self-imposed limitations. You begin to understand that true power lies not in some mythical talent, but in the disciplined application of effort, in the willingness to learn, adapt, and persevere. You discover that the most formidable obstacles are rarely external. They are the mental barriers, the limiting beliefs, and the fear of failure that reside within. And as you systematically dismantle these internal barriers through the consistent act of deliberate practice, your entire perception of what's possible expands exponentially. You don't just get better at a skill. You become a stronger, more resilient, and more confident human being, equipped to tackle any challenge that life throws your way. The lessons learned in the pursuit of one area of mastery spill over into every other aspect of your life, enriching your relationships, enhancing your problem-solving abilities, and fueling your overall sense of purpose and fulfillment. This self-transformation culminates in a deep sense of flow and intrinsic motivation. While deliberate practice is often challenging and uncomfortable, as you progress towards mastery, moments of pure, effortless engagement become more frequent. You find yourself so deeply immersed in the process that time seems to disappear and the activity itself becomes its own reward. This state of flow, where challenge meets skill, is a powerful indicator that you are operating at your peak, fully aligned with your capabilities and purpose. This isn't external motivation, the promise of fame or fortune, but an internal drive, a profound satisfaction that comes from the continuous pursuit of excellence for its own sake. Think of an artist lost in their creation, a scientist absorbed in a complex problem, or a programmer meticulously crafting code. In these moments, the act itself is exhilarating, fulfilling, and deeply meaningful. This is the ultimate reward of deliberate practice, not just the tangible outcome, but the profound joy and sense of purpose derived from the journey of continuous growth and mastery. It's a testament to the idea that the process itself can be just as rewarding, if not more so, than the destination. This intrinsic motivation becomes an inexhaustible wellspring of energy, fueling your continued pursuit of excellence long after external rewards might have lost their luster. It's the point where deliberate practice transcends mere effort and becomes an integral, deeply satisfying part of who you are. The journey beyond talent, through the crucible of deliberate practice, ultimately leads to contribution and lasting impact. When you dedicate yourself to mastering a craft, a skill, or a body of knowledge with such intensity and focus, you don't just benefit yourself, you elevate the entire field. You create something new, solve a complex problem, inspire others through your example, or simply raise the standard of excellence for everyone around you. Your individual mastery becomes a ripple effect, touching lives and shaping the world in ways you might not have initially conceived. Consider the legacies of those who dedicated their lives to mastery. They didn't just accumulate personal wealth or accolades. They left behind innovations, works of art, scientific breakthroughs, and philosophical insights that continue to influence generations. Their relentless pursuit of excellence wasn't just for personal gain. It became a gift to humanity. This is the true power of going beyond mere talent, transforming your potential into something that serves a greater purpose, something that endures. Your commitment to deliberate practice isn't just about becoming better, it's about becoming a force for positive change, a source of inspiration, a testament to what is possible when human potential is fully unleashed. This is the climactic realization. There is no secret sauce, no magical ingredient called talent that determines your ultimate destiny. There is only the unwavering commitment to deliberate practice, fueled by a growth mindset, sustained by grit and discipline, informed by feedback, and guided by a clear vision and purpose. The great achievements of humanity were not born from innate superiority, but from persistent, intelligent effort. They were forged in the crucible of countless hours spent pushing boundaries, learning from mistakes, and relentlessly pursuing improvement, one uncomfortable step at a time. The power to achieve extraordinary things does not reside in some elusive preordained gift. It resides within you, in your capacity for sustained focus, your willingness to embrace discomfort, your courage to learn from failure, and your unyielding commitment to becoming the absolute best version of yourself. The world is not waiting for more talented individuals. It is waiting for more deliberate practitioners, individuals who understand that greatness is built, not born. Individuals who are willing to put in the painstaking, unglamorous work day after day, year after year, until their vision materializes into an undeniable reality. So, let go of the myth of talent. Release the subtle resignation that has held you back. Recognize that the playing field is far more level than you've been led to believe. Your potential is not fixed. It is fluid, expandable, and limited only by the boundaries of your willingness to engage in the hard, focused, consistent work of deliberate practice. The path to true mastery is open to you. It demands effort, certainly, but it promises a profound transformation that extends far beyond the acquisition of a skill. It promises the forging of an indomitable spirit, an unwavering belief in your own capacity, and the profound satisfaction of knowing that what you achieve is not because you were given talent, but because you chose deliberately to become great. The choice is yours. The work awaits. The mastery is within reach. Begin today. This continuous pursuit, this relentless engagement with your edge, will inevitably lead you to a truth that many shy away from. The journey of mastery is punctuated by plateaus. These are periods when progress seems to halt, when your diligent efforts appear to yield diminishing returns, when the gains become microscopic, almost imperceptible. This is where the true test of your commitment arises. The myth of talent suggests a smooth, upward trajectory for the gifted, while the reality of deliberate practice reveals a jagged, stair-step ascent where periods of rapid growth are followed by stretches of seemingly stagnant effort. It's in these plateaus that the faint of heart, those still clinging to the illusion of effortless genius, will falter and retreat. They will interpret the lack of immediate progress as confirmation of their inherent limitations, whispering, "I'm just not good enough." But the master understands that plateaus are not dead ends. They are consolidation zones. They are periods where your mind and body integrate new learnings, where the foundations are solidified before the next surge of growth can occur. To navigate these periods, you must cultivate profound patience and an unshakable long-term vision. Imagine a master gardener tending to a magnificent oak tree. They don't expect it to grow into a towering giant overnight. They understand the cycles of nature, the necessity of deep roots, the slow, consistent nurturing required for immense growth. They water, they prune, they protect, with an unwavering vision of the mature tree decades in the future. Your journey of deliberate practice demands this same foresight and fortitude. You must resist the siren call of instant gratification, the corrosive pressure of a society obsessed with immediate results. Instead, anchor yourself to the distant horizon of your ultimate mastery, trusting that every disciplined effort, no matter how small or unrewarding in the moment, is contributing to the grand edifice you are building. It's the deep conviction that the seemingly invisible progress of today will become the undeniable breakthrough of tomorrow. This patience is not passive waiting. It is active endurance, a relentless commitment to the process, even when the immediate rewards are obscured. Moreover, the intensity of deliberate practice, by its very nature, demands recognition of the critical role of recovery and rejuvenation. It is a profound misunderstanding to believe that more hours of practice always equate to more progress. Just as a weightlifter tears down muscle fibers to rebuild them stronger, so too does your brain require periods of rest to consolidate learning, to forge new neural pathways, and to restore the mental energy required for sustained high-level focus. Pushing relentlessly without intentional periods of downtime leads not to mastery, but to burnout, injury, and diminishing returns. The true masters understand that recovery is not laziness. It is a strategic component of the training regimen. It's where the deep work of integration happens. This recovery isn't just about physical rest. It's about mental and emotional recharge. It involves stepping away from the intense focus, allowing your subconscious mind to process, to synthesize, to connect the dots. It could be through active rest, like engaging in a completely different enjoyable activity, or through passive rest, like deep sleep or meditation. The key is intentional detachment, allowing the well of your creative and cognitive energy to refill. Consider the brilliant insights that often strike when you're away from your desk, taking a walk, or in the shower. These moments of apparent idleness are often when the subconscious, unburdened by conscious effort, makes the crucial connections that unlock breakthroughs. Therefore, integrating purposeful rest, reflection, and rejuvenation into your deliberate practice routine is not a luxury. It is an absolute necessity for sustainable growth and ultimate mastery. It is the wisdom to know when to push and when to pause, ensuring that every session of intense effort is followed by adequate time for integration and renewal. As you embrace this holistic approach to deliberate practice, understanding its cyclical nature of intense effort and strategic recovery, you begin to connect it to a deeper, more resonant truth, its profound link to your purpose. Deliberate practice is not merely about acquiring skills for their own sake. It is about sharpening the instruments through which you will fulfill your unique contribution to the world. Why do you desire this mastery? What problem do you aim to solve? What beauty do you wish to create? What lives do you seek to impact? When your meticulous efforts are anchored to a compelling purpose, the grind transforms into a mission. The challenges become meaningful crucibles, and the occasional discomfort is overshadowed by the profound significance of your Why? Think of the great humanitarians, the visionary leaders, the revolutionary artists. Their dedication to honing their craft, be it communication, strategic thinking, painting, or organizing, was rarely for personal accolades alone. It was driven by an underlying purpose that transcended their individual egos. Martin Luther King Jr.'s mastery of rhetoric and leadership was not an end in itself, but a powerful tool wielded for the purpose of justice and equality. Marie Curie's relentless, dangerous scientific work was fueled by a burning curiosity and a desire to understand the fundamental forces of the universe, ultimately benefiting humanity. Their deliberate practice became a vehicle for higher calling, imbuing their efforts with inexhaustible meaning and driving them through obstacles that would have crushed lesser wills. Your purpose becomes the ultimate fuel for your sustained, deliberate practice, providing an unwavering internal compass that directs your focus and effort even when the path is long and arduous. It transforms the question, "Can I do this?" into, "I must do this because of the impact I intend to make." And it is this sustained, purposeful mastery, born from relentless, deliberate practice, that ultimately creates a lasting ripple effect and legacy. Your individual journey of growth is never truly isolated. As you push the boundaries of your own capabilities, you inevitably inspire those around you. Your dedication becomes a beacon, demonstrating what is possible when one commits fully to a vision. Your achievements, whether grand or subtle, elevate the standard, challenge conventional wisdom, and provide a tangible example of what intentional effort can yield. The innovations you create, the problems you solve, the art you produce, or simply the exemplary way you conduct your life leave an indelible mark on your immediate sphere and often far beyond. Consider figures like Leonardo da Vinci, whose insatiable curiosity and disciplined study across art, science, and engineering not only produced masterpieces but laid foundations for future generations of thinkers. Or the collective legacy of the NASA engineers and scientists who, through their meticulous, deliberate practice of complex problem solving, put a man on the moon, inspiring an entire planet. Their individual commitments to mastery created a shared triumph, a testament to the power of concentrated, collective effort. Your legacy is not merely what you accumulate, but what you contribute, not just what you accomplish for yourself, but how you elevate the possibilities for others. And the pathway to this impactful legacy, to this lasting contribution, is paved brick by brick through the consistent, often unsung efforts of deliberate practice. It is the ultimate manifestation of understanding that your true power lies not in being born with talent, but in the courageous, disciplined act of building it, cultivating it, and then deploying it in service of something greater than yourself. So shed the chains of the talent myth forever. This insidious belief, so often disguised as humility, is nothing more than a cage designed to keep you from the magnificent potential that lies dormant within. Recognize it for what it is, a narrative of resignation, a convenient excuse to avoid the discomfort and relentless effort that true mastery demands. The truth, the profound, liberating truth, is that greatness is not an inheritance. It is a construction. It is built painstakingly, deliberately, with every focused hour, every honest self-assessment, every resilient bounce back from a setback. You are not defined by what you lack in perceived innate ability, but by what you are willing to do to cultivate and refine your skills, your understanding, your very being. The path to extraordinary achievement is not a smooth, effortless glide for the chosen few. It is a rugged, demanding ascent, visible only to those with the courage to embrace the grind, the discipline to show up daily, and the unwavering belief that their efforts, compounded over time, will inevitably lead to exponential growth. It's a path less traveled, precisely because it requires sustained effort and a willingness to be uncomfortable. But it is on this path, and only on this path, that true mastery is forged, genuine confidence is earned, and an unshakable sense of self-worth is cultivated. The choice is now undeniably yours. Will you continue to allow the phantom hand of talent to dictate your ceiling, to limit your aspirations, to keep you shackled to the ordinary? Or will you seize the reins of your own potential, recognizing that your capacity for growth is virtually limitless? Will you embrace the discomfort of deliberate practice, understanding it as the fertile ground from which all true excellence springs? Will you commit to the focused effort, the relentless feedback, the patient endurance through plateaus, and the strategic recovery that transforms potential into prowess? The stage of your life is set. The tools for your masterpiece are within your reach. The blueprints for your next level of mastery are waiting to be drawn through clarity, purpose, and vision. Now all that remains is the consistent, disciplined, deliberate application of your will. Begin today, not with a burst of fleeting motivation, but with a quiet, unyielding commitment to the daily work. Embrace the struggle, celebrate the minute gains, and trust the process. For when you choose deliberate practice, you are not just acquiring skills, you are sculpting your character, forging an indomitable spirit, and ultimately unlocking a version of yourself that is beyond talent, beyond expectation, and beyond all previous limitations. The only limits are the ones you accept. The only talent that truly matters is your unwavering dedication to becoming your absolute best. Go forth and practice, deliberately, relentlessly, and magnificently.